Now we're going to take a look at some problems with word order and sentence types. So let's begin with word order. English is generally considered an SVO language. An SVO is the typical word order pattern in English. So S stands for subject, V stands for verb, and O stands for object. So let's take a look at these three sentences. The bakery raised their prices again. Bakery subject, raised verb, prices object, SVO. John went home, whereas Michael stayed at the bar drinking. And ever since I have known him, he has done nothing but stupid things. Right? Once again, an SVO pattern. It doesn't matter how syntactically complex these sentences are, you generally find in English an SVO word order pattern. However, there are two exceptions. The most common exception is when you form a question. There, we invert. So invert means that the subject and the verb are switched in the sentence. So did Leah buy the car from Mike? Answer, yes, she bought the car from Mike. So the answer, she bought the car, subject, verb, object. However, when we form that question, we take that one part verb bought, we make a two-part verb out of it, did buy, and we put one part of the verb first, then the subject, then the second part of the verb. So did Leah buy the car from Mike? Will you apply for the job? Yes, I will apply for it. We have the same kind of pattern there, right? But that is nothing that gives students a problem, right? However, the second thing gives students a problem. And that's when we front with a semi-negative or restrictive adverbial. And fronting with a semi-negative or restrictive adverbial essentially means we put this at the front of the sentence. Now this is something that's not a very major problem in English, but on the exam, on your essays or in your term papers, there are a handful of students that use this kind of construction. And if you're going to use this, you need to learn to use it correctly. You can easily avoid this kind of construction, but sometimes students actually wind up making this mistake because they're not aware of the fact that this kind of construction exists in English. So only when she apologizes will I speak to her again. So we have the restrictive adverbial clause, only when she apologizes. And it's called a restrictive adverbial because it gives the conditions under which the main clause will happen. And I will speak to her only when she apologizes. Given those conditions, I will speak to her again. Right? And in that case, you have to invert. So I will speak to her again, will I speak to her again? Only when she apologizes will I speak to her again. Not only is John handsome, but he's also rich. We begin the sentence with a not only. There we have to invert. Not only, verb, subject. Now, how do we form inverted sentences? Well, the formula for semi-negative or restrictive adverbials is very simple. Semi-negative or restrictive adverbials first, plus the verb, plus the subject. So the normal SVO pattern, I will speak to her again only when she apologizes. So in both of those clauses, we have SVO. However, when we front with the only when she apologizes, we take that two-part verb, will speak, and the pattern is first part of verb, will, plus the subject, plus the second part. Only when she apologizes will I speak to her again. Let's take a look at the second sample sentence. John woke up only after the train had left the station. Here we have a one-part verb, woke. So we have to do it the same way we do a question. Only after the train had left the station did John wake up. So we create a two-part verb. We take did wake out of woke, and then we invert. First part of verb, subject, second part of verb. Very simple. And that's inversion. Thank you.